welcome you back to the SFC Sports Talk. As you are about to witness greatness in one show, I'm Josh Lynch, your host for today, aided in company by Laik Green and Brian Mansell, as we come to you live and direct, ready to get down to business on the SFC Sports Talk show. Here's the menu as we will start the show off with how and why the Joe Flacco trade happened and what this now means for the Ravens and the Denver Broncos moving forward. Plus, what are these Rangers planning to do as the trade deadline approaches? Could this be a farewell tour for Kevin Hayes and Mark Zuccarello? And what about that Alonzo Ball guy? Is he a bust? Is it time for these Lakers to deal the UCLA point guard out of town? Who knows? But we'll all have to find out only if you stick around on the SFC Sports Talk live and direct. Guys, how we doing today?
Excellent.
How we doing?
Having a good time.
All right, guys. Joe Flacco, as you all know, won the Super Bowl as an MVP, signed that big contract after winning the Super Bowl, but was never the same after he signed that contract. He has now been traded to Denver to replace Case Keenum. That was Denver's starting quarterback this season. Denver Broncos general manager John Elway has never really been a fan of Casey Keenum, so honestly, this is probably an indication of why he traded for Joe Flacco. John Elway's been sick and tired of having to draft all these different quarterbacks. He gave up on Paxton, Lynch, and company, so we're going to see how this rocks out. But on the flip side, this now creates more room for Lamar Jackson on the Ravens and being officially named the Ravens starting quarterback. Brian, Laik, I just have to ask you guys one question. What is the bigger story here? Is it Denver trading for Joe Flacco or the Ravens getting rid of Flacco for Lamar Jackson? Brian.
I don't think there is a bigger story here. I think both sides really got impacted by this. Let's put it this way. The Ravens just got rid of a veteran quarterback who was defining their franchise. He was such an icon. Besides Ray Lewis, he was the icon for the Baltimore Ravens, and you just traded him away. If you thought of the Ravens, besides Ray Lewis, who else would you think of?
True.
Exactly the point. You just traded him away because he's old now. He's 33 years old. But still, he's still dealing. I mean, in 9 games this season, he still had a 61% completion rate, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and threw for 2,500 yards. I mean, that's a solid quarterback there. And now that you got rid of him, now you create a problem with Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to tell you guys he's not a great quarterback. I'm going to tell you, though, he reminds me of Tim Tebow in a way, because of his versatility on the option and running around. But his arm is not phenomenal. He doesn't have the distance or the power or the accuracy that Joe Flacco has.
Brian, I absolutely agree with you, but this is what I want to say, folks. This was a smart move for Baltimore. Why? Because of Joe Flacco's injury history. Brian, you were right when you said that Flacco did put up respectable numbers in 9 games the past season. But his injury history is a major concern. He injured his hip. That is a scary, shaky injury. You have no idea how you're going to rebound from a hip injury. And I also like this because Baltimore is committing to Lamar Jackson. You're committing to a younger quarterback. Now, is he a perfect? By all means, no. The man only completed 14 passes total in any game. He did not complete more than 14 passes in a single game last season.
Wow.
So he needs work. His accuracy, a little bit of an issue. Does he have the mobility that the modern quarterback should possess? Absolutely. But overall, this is a smart move, but there's gonna be some growing pains.
Laik, to follow up on what you just said, how do you feel about Lamar Jackson? Like, do you feel that his style of play is sustainable?
Yes, I
just said next year, but for the future moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Josh, definitely a big thing about that is that, like we said, he's a young guy. He has some growing pains. He's going to have growing pains moving forward. He needs to work on his accuracy, but like you said, his principal fundamental game. He is what the modern quarterback is going to be.
Right.
Is he Patrick Mahomes? No. He's in my opinion, one of the wonders of the world. You could put him up there with the pyramids and what else. But the thing is that the modern quarterback, folks, this league is moving away from the generic pocket passer. It's moving towards a quarterback that does more than just stand in the pocket and throw the ball downfield. That we're moving towards a league that a quarterback can move right, left, out of the pocket, avoid the pressure. As we become a more fast-paced, offensive-driven league, this is the type of quarterback that's going to be exemplified in the NFL. And he has the fundamentals for that.
And what I like so much about his game, in regards to what you just said, he actually is a pocket passer, correct?
He is, but he can move. He has mobility.
He has mobility, which makes him so special. And
He needs to work on his accuracy. He needs to work on if you're going to be a sustainable, dependable quarterback in the National Football League, you still need to throw the ball accurately. You don't need to be a deep ball thrower. You could be more of, like I said, I'm a Dolphins fan, but I'll use the example, Ryan Tannehill. Say what you will about the man, but the man is consistent when it comes to his mobility, his durability, and the way he's able to throw the ball down the field, like we said.
And he has
not
another
flashy,
threat in the backfield.
Not an all-star, but adequate. And that's the way the NFL is moving today.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just shaking his head, yeah.
You know, I just want to also bring into this fact here with the trade that we have to look at how this impacts other teams moving forward.
Right.
Not just the Broncos and the Ravens. Think about the 5 other teams that are looking for quarterbacks. Miami, Jacksonville, the Redskins with Alex Smith not playing next season, the Giants with their controversy.
Those are all teams looking for
Eli
Kyler
Manning.
Murray, too, by the way.
And I'm going to throw this in as a wild card because I think they are too, the Bengals.
Really, the Bengals?
The Bengals.
I don't know about that. Andy Dalton is not
As
great.
much as
but
there's a problem with, as much as
That's their guy, though.
Andy Dalton's like their franchise guy, if you look at the statistics for the last 3 seasons, Andy Dalton's doing nothing for Cincinnati.
No, he hasn't.
He has not performed. Before that, they have had 4 consistent seasons in a row of making the playoffs.
Well,
but they never
they
won
haven't
the
won a
game.
game
Do you
in
put
20
that on
years in the
Andy Dalton? Do you
playoffs.
put
And you
that on-
can't put that on just Andy
Do you
Dalton.
put that on Andy Dalton or the head coach?
I put it on a combination of both. I just think the team was
Really?
just not good enough. I think the Bengals were stuck in an eternal system of mediocrity.
Even though
in
they're
which
trying to
they
move forward with it,
refused to rebuild, they refused to really tank to try to understand that they weren't going to be a top-tier team, but they were always consistent playoff contenders.
made
That
the
was
playoffs
that.
in
They got
16
in and they
seasons.
lost. They got in and they lost.
16 seasons.
Andy Dalton is not a franchise legend. Is he a stable quarterback in a league
Of course.
in that stable quarterbacks are at a premium and they're at a high price right now? Look how much Matt Stafford got. What was that, year or 2 ago?
I forgot
is
about
he,
that guy.
Is he a all-star quarterback? No, but he is gutsy, he's consistent, and that's what a lot of these NFL teams are looking for, which is why, I agree with this, in a sense, moving on from Baltimore and sticking with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, like in a way of like modernizing the league and following the
Right.
trend.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Guys, we got to move forward here, but I got one more question pertaining to the NFL and all the surrounding news happening so far. Kyler Murray, what are you guys' take on him as a quarterback? Do you think he has what it takes to be sustainable for?
He has upside. He has upside, but I
course
don't.
he has
I'm
upside.
not with any prospective quarterback. I never get sold on
They're
prospects.
comparing him to Russell Wilson. They're comparing him to Baker Mayfield. They're comparing him to so many quarterbacks who were under 5'11". Doug Flutie, but he's
Well, Josh,
honestly a
that's just the
quarterback
nature
that
of the
I've never
game.
seen before.
That's the nature of the game. There's always comparisons. If they don't compare people, then they don't have material to talk about. It's all about material to talk about on air. Comparisons are always made. Whether they're accurate or not is yet to be seen, and I think we will see that as he will be drafted, and we'll see how his career progresses. We'll have to see what the verdict is on that. I think only time will tell to end that.
Well, let me also throw in here, because I'm this kind of guy. I'm not a believer in Kyler Murray. Not at all. Not at all. Now, here's the thing. I understand the statistic of his height, but you can also look at Drew Brees and say, okay, look at his height.
He's not 5'11",
He's
he's
not.
5'9".
He's not even that tall.
He's 5'9".
But he still swings the ball in the field like nobody's business.
And he's still gutsy.
And now everyone throws in the factor of height. I don't believe height's a factor. I think it's the ability of you got to go on the field, you got to perform, you got to be clutch. When
Utilize your skill.
Oklahoma was in a serious situation last season with Alabama trying to get to national championship game, where was Kyler Murray?
Against Alabama.
Where was he? Against Alabama. As great as Alabama is, if you want to be a real quarterback and you want to prove yourself as a franchise guy, you got to go up against difficult teams and you got to persevere.
But didn't he put up good numbers against Alabama this year, or are you talking about last year?
I'm talking about this past season that just ended.
I thought he put up some good numbers against Alabama. no?
All right.
Let's look at the trend here
Go ahead.
with the Heisman Trophy winners. Every quarterback I've seen so far that has won the Heisman has not won the national title in the last few years.
Right.
Think about it. Baker Mayfield won last year, correct?
Didn't
And
win
what
the national
happened?
title.
They didn't make it to national title because of Georgia in overtime. Kyler Murray just won. He didn't make the national championship game because Alabama stopped him. Alabama blew him out.
They would have got killed by Clemson if
Well,
they played them in the finals.
Absolutely.
Forget about all that. The point is, like going back to the statement we said before to close this whole NFL discussion out, is he going to be a sustainable quarterback in a league that the quarterback position is really at an instability?
Right.
Is he going to be an asset to a team? You don't have to be the guy, but you need to be good enough to contribute. Game manager. He will definitely be at least a game manager.
My last verdict on Kyler Murray, I say maybe. I'm a little iffy on him. What do you say? Yes, no, maybe?
I'm not sold.
Not
so
sold.
I'll say I'm in the middle.
So that's a
he's
no.
got to prove himself.
Okay. Laik?
He'll be a game manager, at the very least.
Still a chance here. It's Willingham. Into the box. Willingham shoots. Goal! That was magic. This is history in the making. Sweet dreams, 98. Willingham tucks it in and puts the championship to bed. No one ever saw this coming.
As long as soccer players celebrate with a slide, you can count on Geico saving folks money. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Pressure! What pressure? Willingham!
All right, moving forward, guys, the Rangers, New York Rangers, have two serious situations that need to be addressed prior to the NHL trade deadline on February 25th. The contracts of Matt Zuccarello and Kevin Hayes will expire as seasons ends. It's understood in today's NHL that it is not wise or productive to let a player just walk away at the end of their contract. But in this case, business is business. Laik, your take on the Rangers and their speculation around Zuccarello and Hayes involving this trade deadline February 25th.
Thank you, Josh. This is definitely an interesting topic to discuss. Absolutely, 100%. Zuccarello, fan favorite, veteran, heart and soul of the team, a scrappy 5'8" guy, so much smaller than everybody else, but has a heart of a guy who's way, way taller. Kevin Hayes has really progressed. He's really improved his defensive game this season, really, really grown as a player and as a leader. Excellent puck handler. He's 11 points shy of a career high. He has 38 now. His career high was 49 in the year of 2016. Okay. He's definitely a leader and an asset on this Rangers team, and so is Zuccarello. Of course, that goes without. You don't even need to say that about Zuccarello. It's just accepted, widely known. But I do think that the Rangers will trade both these players at the deadline.
Really?
As Jeff Gorton's message is a rebuild. For better or for worse, the Rangers are a rebuilding team. Are they a terrible team? Absolutely not. They are literally average. They are an average team in a league full of great teams and bad teams. They're in the middle. They're in eternal mediocrity in the NHL. They were that last year, and they are that this year. They play with a lot of heart. They're competitive every night, but I think Jeff Gorton understands that by moving Zuccarello, by moving Hayes to the deadline, is a too smart move for this team moving forward. If you're going to trade one or the other, you definitely should trade Hayes first, because Hayes is a 26-year-old player. He's younger than Zuccarello. Zuccarello is 31, so he's in his prime but heading out of his prime.
Okay.
Hayes is 26, still fairly young, manageable. He's a very ideal player. He's a center. Like I said, he's really improved his game. He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NHL for years to come. And I think if the Rangers move him at the deadline, at this time, in the thick of a playoff race, he's definitely going to guarantee them at least a first-round pick and a top prospect. Oof. They'd get a great haul out of him if they move him. Now, if they do move him, though, and they don't get a good return, this could become a trade the Rangers regret.
Okay.
As with Zuccarello, both these trades, Josh, these could be considered trap trades. Both these trades
It's a risk, right?
If they need to play it smart. Jeff Gorton needs to play it smart. If the return is there, the Rangers should move both these guys. If the return is not there and teams are playing stingy, the Rangers should hold on to both of them and let at least one of them walk and re-sign the other one long term.
Now, I hear they're trying to take a risk into keeping either Hayes or Zuccarello through the trade deadline. In your eyes, do you think is that a risk to keep them?
It is a risk. For Zuccarello, definitely not. Zuccarello, both men have unequivocally said they want to stay Rangers.
But it's time for Zuccarello to go.
But Zuccarello, like you said, the argument can be made. He's an older player. He's done the heart and soul of the team for years. The fans love him. It's going to be a hard thing to deal with. If they do trade him, it's going to hurt. It's going to be a tough one to swallow for a lot of Ranger fans and the whole city of New York.
Zuccarello's shooting percentage is 10.6.
He's excellent. He's excellent, and he's a career player. He's a team player. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but he knows how to pass. Man, does he know how to pass. His hockey IQ is through the roof. Same thing with both these guys. But it would definitely be a smarter move to move Zuccarello over Hayes. If you're going to keep one or the other, you definitely got to keep Hayes.
Okay, Brian.
Well, I also agree with you there because youth always plays a factor when it comes to hockey. The younger you are, usually the more opportunity you have, the more potential you have, your prime will last longer.
In a physical game, absolutely.
Yes, because your body will break down over time. Hockey's a very aggressive sport, just like football.
Very aggressive.
Now, you can also add in what you were saying about the Rangers. You're right. They're an average team. They're not like the Ducks, who just fired their coach.
The Ducks are the whole.
Why did they fire their coach, by the way?
Well, they've lost 19 out of 20 games.
Oh, goodness.
So,
yeah.
He's got to go.
He had some serious issues. They lost control of the team, basically. So they decided, we're just going to let you go. Smart move they made and decided. And like you were saying about Zuccarello and the whole thing with Hayes, I think Hayes would generate more interest
absolutely
than Zuccarello because
he's younger.
Exactly, younger. But you said Zuccarello has a lot of talent, and as he's been performing lately, he's definitely increasing the trade value for him.
Friday is the Zibanejad Zuccarello line.
Yeah, let's refer back to where Boyle was
That
traded
first
earlier
line,
this
that
season.
first line has carried the Rangers the last couple weeks. The only reason the Rangers have been competitive in these close games the entire season has been largely because of these players like Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, and Matt Zuccarello. And this first line here, the past 2-3 weeks, they've been scoring a goal,
That line
2
is
goals
very
a night.
special.
They score a goal a night.
One of the best in the NHL.
One of the best in the NHL, hands down, in my opinion. The chemistry there is ridiculous. They really understand each other, know how to play hockey. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow for the Rangers, but they do need to make some moves. The long-term picture is more important than the present.
Now, the Rangers are well outside of the playoff picture in the Eastern
They're
Conference.
4 games, 4.5 games.
7th in the Eastern Conference. I believe they're 24-24. That is their record for the season.
Team.
Exactly.
I think it's just the small family that St. Francis helps to foster.
There's quite a variety of personalities and backgrounds at St. Francis College.
It was the generous scholarship that I received.
Being that I was in Brooklyn, I just thought, wow, like it's really beautiful.
I wanted to work in finance, so there's no better place to be than New York.
St. Francis really is the small college of big dreams.
So moving forward, they got 2 talented pending free agent forwards. Hopefully, maybe looking to stay or move forward in the future. Nonetheless, guys, we have to move on. All right, moving forward, fellas, a year ago, everyone was concerned that Lonzo Ball would be a bust. The Lakers right now are number 10 in the Western Conference with a 28-29 record. They came up short during the recent trade deadline over a week ago in landing a trade, more so particularly Anthony Davis, due to the Pelicans not seeing the Lakers trading pieces in Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma as players with enough trade value. Lake, Brian, did Magic Johnson make a mistake in drafting Lonzo Ball with the number 2 overall pick? Would you say he's gotten in the way of being not enough of trade value to potentially be traded for a superstar like Anthony Davis or Kawhi Leonard?
The proper word to use for a player like him is overhyped. And the reason why I say overhyped is, think about what his father, LeVar Ball, did. Him in high school, with how great he was, how a phenomenal talent he was. And then his father decided to make a brand out of that. Decided to promote it and make money.
We all saw it coming, though, did we not?
I'm not a fan of the Bulls.
It was cute. It was cute. Exactly. He was in high school. His dad was his little cheerleader supporter. It was cute.
Yeah, it was pleasant.
And everyone knew what was expected once he got to the NBA. He's going to be the most bashed player in the NBA. And the moment he kind of falls, you know.
Yeah. Well,
it's inevitable when you're hyped up that much.
Exactly.
And what was the first thing they picked on the second he hit the NBA? His shot form. That was the first thing they attacked. I mean, think about it. The way he reeled the ball back was just atrocious.
I've never seen it before. And he did fix it. He did tweak it a little bit this season.
Yes,
he did shoot a little bit better, but it's a shot we've never seen before.
This is how different the shot is. Last season, he shot 36% from the field.
Really?
36%. Do you know how much it improved since LeBron joined the team?
How much?
40. It's now 40%. It's
40%.
better, but it's not phenomenal. His 3-point percentage is just above 300. So just about 30%.
So do you think he's a bust? As of now, let's not look in the future. Right now, what would you say?
He's only been in the league
for a year, but what would you say? Is he looking like a bust or not?
Well, it's very mixed because as a point guard, you have to make your shots. You have to knock them down.
True.
And he's struggling to do that still.
He is.
But there is an adding element of, basic elements of point guard. You got to pass the ball around, do what you got to do, be a team player.
He's a traditional guard.
And he really is like that. Think about it. Back January 19th, which about a month ago, he got injured during the Rockets game and messed up his left ankle. He's still not ready to go, and they're saying he's going to hit the 6-week mark on the timetable return.
Oh, 6 weeks?
Yeah, he's going to hit the 6-week mark.
Wow.
He's going to hit the later end of the table. And keep in mind, through the last 10 games they played without him, they are 3-7 since his injury, which tells you how much he's actually important to that team.
Right.
And one of those losses, and get ready for this, folks, the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks.
He lost to the Hawks by
record?
4. Not in overtime, not a close game, but they lost by 4 in regulation.
I'll tell you this. I've read a lot of reports, a lot of studies. He's actually a very important asset to this Lakers roster, believe it or not. You know, people,
I would say so.
People want to, see the hybrid point guard. They want to see the Russell Westbrooks of the world. They want to see the Eric Bledsoes of. They want to see that flashiness. He's not going to be your flashy guy. He's a traditional point guard, like I just told you.
Going over his stats, that's the vibe I got.
Exactly. Pass first guy, very unselfish. Lakers actually want him to be even more selfish, but this is the type of point guard who he is. So in my eyes, I can't call him a bust due to him, being a unique player. He's a very unique player. He's a player that I've really never seen before. They asked me to compare him to a player. I can't compare him to anybody.
Really?
I don't know. Like, who can you compare him to?
There's only one.
Steve Nash, yeah, but his style of play.
Not Nash, but there's something that popped in my head, and it's mainly because of a player that's currently in the NBA, but he's also a backup at the moment, and that is Jeff Teague.
Jeff Teague.
I have a weird vibe that it's Jeff Teague. Because Jeff Teague plays like a regular guard.
He's very regular. What happened to that dude, yeah?
I believe he is still in Minnesota.
He is in Minnesota.
He is, yeah.
He actually had a starting spot taken from him, I think it was 3 games ago. Who is the other reserve guard on that roster? It's Jeff Teague.
Is it a Koji?
No, it's not a Koji. I don't know who it is, but there was a point in time where he was not starting. He got a starting position back, though. But if you research and look in their last 3 games, Timberwolves' last 3 games, he was not starting at all, and he was not injured. So it goes to show you. I mean, I don't want to say he fell off, but
I think it's a loss of confidence, and that's the same thing that's going on with Lonzo Ball. They're losing confidence in the kid.
They are.
I mean, think about it. You just tried to sell your whole team.
They tried to sell him.
I mean, nobody's going to respect you. Michael Beasley and JaVale McGee tried to go at Magic Johnson and sit down with him and talk with him because of a problem they were having, and Luke Walton as well.
Well, it just goes to show you. I mean, they were willing to trade anybody for this guy, Anthony Davis, except LeBron James, obviously.
Yeah, who would want to trade him?
But
my final verdict on the whole matter would be this. It would just be that, look, when you're ever as hyped up as a player as Ball was, you're never going to live up to your expectations. No. Very rarely. So do I think that the guy is a bust? No, not at all. I think he's a solid player. But do I think he'll ever be the legendary, live up to the aura, in other words, that they gave him, this fulfill the pedestal, be this great legendary player? No. But I think he'll be a solid player and have a successful career.
He'll be solid.
I just don't think he'll ever live up to the hype, and that's not even his fault.
He'll be solid. Now, you said, to piggyback off of what you said, no one can exceed expectations when they're hyped up that much in high school. One player, though, with the exception of that, his name is Zion Williamson. I don't know if you guys have seen this guy, but he's all over. How could you not see him? I don't mean to go off topic, but
I know
he's definitely going to live up to expectations. Like,
yes.
Some people are just born with
He's cute. He's an animal. Like,
I feel like the second he hits the league next year, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. He's going to be, in the future, one of the strongest players to have ever played the game in the NBA. His strength could be comparable to even Shaq.
He's like 6'8", moving like he's 5'9". Do you see
have that
him?
height, you can't.
It's unbelievable.
He's just, in my opinion, he's more brolic. He's like a more all-around better version of Eric Bledsoe.
He is.
And why I'm saying Eric Bledsoe is because he's a hybrid point guard.
Very.
As what he is.
They used to call him a miniature LeBron when he first arrived in the NBA.
Exactly. So Zion is bigger than him, stronger than him, has a better shot than him. And the kid's in his freshman year.
It's crazy. Everyone was, showcasing his highlight dunks and whatnot. But when I really actually got to sit and watch a full game of him playing on that Duke basketball team, I noticed how fast he is in transition, how well he can handle the ball. He can actually shoot it pretty well. I mean, let's put aside his amazing dunks. I mean, this guy is the real deal. He is the real deal. But I digress. Going back to these Lakers, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. In my eyes, I definitely think come summertime, Lonzo Ball is gone. I don't know about you. But in trading Kyle Kuzma, I don't think that's the right answer. I don't know about that because I think he's the number 2 player on that roster.
I agree with you 100% because Kuzma last season was in the running as of late to be part of Rookie of the Year against Ben Simmons, against Donovan Mitchell, against all the other players you can think of that performed really well last season. There is no player that I see right now within the West that plays like him and is so young.
Right.
How old is the guy? Like 22, 23?
20. Lonzo or Kuzma?
I'm talking about Kuzma here.
Kuzma is 23. Young guy.
Kuzma is 23.
Right out of Utah.
And he's putting up around 20 points a game.
Like I said, I think he's the second best player on our roster. Whenever LeBron's on that bench or LeBron's off ball, you see this type of dogfight style in Kyle Kuzma that ultimately, in my eyes or in anybody else's eyes that really focuses on the Lakers, he's deemed as like a dog. He wants it. He wants to score. He wants to do all that he can. And honestly, that's what I think makes him a special player. They can't get rid of him. I can't speak of that for Lonzo Ball. We just talked about him. He's not the dog that Kyle Kuzma is. So who knows? Guys, that is all we had today. I'm Josh Lynch, your host. Laik Green, Brian Mansell. Definitely come back to SFC Sports Talk. We got so much in store for you guys next show. We'll see you guys.